Hi, this is a message for the zone leaders as well as the cell leaders and associate leaders of my district. The church is going to launch the Spiritual Discipline 5, which is a life of good works, very shortly. And we're very excited that this is part and parcel of the vision to build up and raise up good soldiers for Jesus Christ at Emmanuel. So I really need to enlist your help, and you're very vital in making sure that this spiritual discipline is embraced by the people of your cell groups. So I'm going to give you a rough time plan as to what's going to happen. And this coming Sunday, which is the 26th of February, at the welcome desk, the cell leaders are to collect a pack that contains two pieces of information. First of all is the overview of the spiritual discipline number 5. And here we have 5 arrows, and each arrow represents a grow agenda, grow 1 through to grow 5. So there are 5 grows with 5 leaders' guides as well to help the cell groups to embrace this spiritual discipline of good works. And what you need to do is that grow 1 is really to change the value before changing behavior. And the grow 1 of the agenda grow 1 needs to be done in the week before my first sermon, which will happen on the 12th of March. So in the week beginning of the 5th of March, the cells should be doing the agenda listed in grow 1. And there's a leader's guide attached with each grow for you to look through. And the grow agenda will be sent to you by email by Cherise next week. But this coming Sunday on the 26th of February, each cell leader will collect a pack which consists of a sheet of this, which is an overview, and it tells you the different grows, all right, changing values to change behavior, which should take place, as I mentioned, before I preach the first of 4 sermons. Starting on the 12th of March is our first sermon at Emmanuel Westminster. Now, the second sheet inside the pack that the cell leader will receive this Sunday will be this a 40-day challenge. Okay, this is a 40-day challenge, which the dates are all set. 11th of March. You should start on the 11th of March already, which is to coincide with my launch preaching on the 12th of March. So there are 40 days where the instructions are given here, behind the sheet here, so that the first week is to help members to meditate on some verses, ask the Holy Spirit to speak to them, and then different aspects are to be done over the course of 40 days. But throughout those 40 days, we want people, the whole church, to take on a challenge, which is good works for non-Christians. And what we do is that I'm going to launch it on the day that I preach on the 12th of March, which is to, for Emmanuel Westminster, we have a target of 3,000 good works done for non-Christians in a 40-day period. Launch when I first preach on the 12th of March in Westminster, Emmanuel Westminster. And what we do is that we have a glass jar that we put on the stage, and for every good work for a non-Christian, you put a sweet in, and we're going to fill up that jar, which will top like 1,000 sweets per, when the jar is nearly full, and we need to fill it 3 times over a 40-day period. So what constitutes good work for the non-Christian, I will explain in my sermon. But of course, good works encompasses all sorts of things. Even praying in the morning is a good work. Our attitude in our hearts is a good work. So it's very difficult to really count the number of good works, especially we do it among Christians. But for non-Christians, it's a bit more challenging. So if you were to say, I witnessed to a non-Christian in the last week, that's counted as a good work. Or I helped with the shopping for my neighbor. give some money to help someone, that's considered also a good work. And we want to encourage the cells to really try and find out what sort of good works they can encourage one another to do. And so every week, the cell leader should represent the cell group to say, look, let me collect the number of good works you have done and encourage one another, what good works have you done for non-Christian this week? And they may have different ideas and different opportunities. And they can pray over those areas. So cell leaders, you need to inspire that. This is to happen over a 40-day period after the day I preach. All right, so the good works will happen, and you will collect as a cell leader the total number of good works for the week. Let's say you meet on a Friday or whatever, you just collect the last 7 days. And based on that number, after the benediction, you go forward, and there's this glass jar, pick the number of sweets, 1 sweets per good work. So if your cell has done 10 good works, pick up 10 sweets, put in the jar. And then we see that over the 40-day period that we will be able to reach 3,000 good works for non-Christians. This is really to encourage us to live a culture of doing good work, especially also to non-Christians, which I believe we may be lacking because we do a lot of good works among ourselves, but not to non-Christians. Okay, so I think that is basically it. So so what must you do as a cell leader? So cell leaders, you are to collect your cell pack 26th of February from the front desk, and in there you have an overview sheet, and also printed for you we have a colored 40-day challenge chart that you start on the date marked here, which is on the 11th of March. Okay, and instructions are at the back, and you should have about 10 sheets per pack. Give it to your cell groups and ask them to start using it on the 11th of March. So you have just under 2 weeks to prepare. But very important is that your Grow 1 must happen on the week before my sermon on the 12th of March, so that the Grow 2 happens in the few days after I preach on the Sunday, 12th of March, and so on and so forth. You will have also received a 10-week plan from Cherise this week, and in there is very clearly stated that the week starting from the 5th of March, you should be doing the first grow, which is what I've been saying, and then the March the 12th, after I preach, then you do the second grow, because I'm preaching on the topic of the second grow, and so on. But there's a week where there's a gap, because there's a Mother's Day Sunday, which I will not be preaching on good works, and then you follow the 4th grow and the 5th grow, and that's how you use a 10-week plan, okay? And you should be receiving it by email from Cherise sometime this week. Okay, thank you.